Wow, wow.
Hello.
Italia no, vedi snagare. Allah. What? Edition na ito. Palit man siya. Consider ba? Ay, hindi na. Kung hindi, I just don't know. Up on the page. Not work on the Ada. Kanina na tulog pa ako. Yang tadi. Kasi tuwa na angin dito. Panahon dito. Ah, ikot din ako na. Ay, balik. Ay, turun ko te. Ay. The yellow ni, shootingnya ni dari yang ini begini. Oh, Quando the first ice? Oh, tadi yang
Ano? Hindi.
Dani
Ano ka?
tidak waktu.
Ako hindi ko hindi.
Hindi.
Hindi ka din.
Oh,
Luto ka.
tadi?
Makanya di
Ano po?
Aku print ko ba?
Ako, isa kasi. Tahun ni tempat ini kan dah. Kalau ni tengok ni. Oh, tadi saya kayu mau. Itu oh. Dapat kupat itu. Itu convergennya pakai yang gitu.
Kerja awal.
Awal. Oi. Apa? Suci. Apa itu? Itu aku tanya lagi. Pagi dah. Bagi. Dia tak seperti itu. Kali dah bagi. Ya, ada ekspor kan ada orang. Bagi dah. Terusnya 3 tahun. Ada juga Enak aja. Sebelah. Aldo ngambil dah. Ini. Oh. Kemana? Kalian dah delik ke? Ya, aku delik. Ini delik ke? Ada apa? Ada kerja. Oo, ang nasubo.
Balik ka na sunod siya mo. Hindi mo.
Depende. Depende. Kaya nila. Ya upo, sabi ng upo. Ay,
Berapa presenter? Kurang present.
Dari mana?
Aku dari Pantek. Ini kamu tahu? Sivil. So, tapi aku dulu basic. Saya gak di so that's my itu not to be but to support SHENA in terms of as you get new guys yeah so there's some experience culture and this can change the culture. This can change. Itu kalau kita tadi cakap tentang seatbelt di kami pusat ini saja. Jangan dapat menumpak penuh kok mata dia. Kalau yang itu alam bintang sudah bis.
Orang pada aja kok pernah tuh kita anak apa kita tadi jam duduk terus dulu kan banyak
Kita bikin yang
MYCE yang possible di SHENA. One of the first round.
grup gerak itulah macam yang besok.
Ya, bisa ya.
Ini itu. Oh, dan all.
Ya. Yes.
Dulu I ever apply. I said no. Now my intention is to test. I'm building. I don't be a SHENA guy to build. You'll be talking about the thing. Mau boleh macam tadi tu.
Hello, testing. For people yang registered for mini lecture, please come in. We're about to start. People yang under KIV, please go to our registration area, okay? Thank you.
Oh, apa yang dia?
apa daripada nomor bisnisnya kadangnya oh lu tahan kantor oh benar balik School of Editing. Kita dito.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, Assalamualaikum and good afternoon. A warm welcome to all of you for attending today's event, SHENA's mini lecture. Themes for today's presentation: enforcement and compliance culture. To bless the event this afternoon, we would like to invite Yang Mulia Haji Muhammad Hafizul Khairi for the recitation of Surah Al-Fatihah.
Iya, kenapa gua iya sekarang masalah itu tidak akan kami kayu waktu yang hebat.
Amin, 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 ya Rabbal Alamin. Before the presentation begins, allow me to remind you that there is no plan for fire drill today. If you heard the alarm, please remain calm and kindly exit to the right side of the lecture entrance. Our SHENA and ICC officer will guide the SHENA's first aider here to support when fire. A few housekeeping notes before we begin today's presentation. First, I would like to signal cooperation to kindly switch your modes will only be entertained at the end of the presentation during question and answer session. Please ensure to always maintain your professionalism and use respectful language during the lecture. And lastly, you will be able to win some wonderful prizes by participating to our quizzes activity. So please, recommended to listen and focus on the presentation. Thank you for your kind cooperation and attention. So next, without further ado, we would like to invite our first speaker, Yang Mulia Muhammad Nazirul bin Muhammad Jailani, Training Inspector from Enforcement Division, to present on workplace safety and health enforcement.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. And a very good afternoon, everyone. We are from Enforcement Division. So today, the Enforcement Division will be presenting about enforcement and compliance culture. So with this presentation, the key objective is to provide awareness on Enforcement Division and what we do, and how we will come with our guidance and how to comply with the needs, as well as promote the compliance safety culture in your workplace. So this will be the agenda of this presentation. This is just a brief reminder of what Liana has mentioned. So just a brief introduction of SHENA and what we do. So SHENA is a statutory body set up under the Safety of Environment National Authority Act, Chapter 227, which was enforced in April 2017. We, as the authority, regulates and enforce all matters pertaining to workplace safety, health, environment, as well as relation activities in the land. We have a CEO, which directly reports to the minister in charge. We have appointed inspectors and authorized officers, which have legal powers to enforce the law. SHENA has vision to ensure that Brunei is a safe place to work and live to make a positive difference. So these are the legal framework under SHENA's that the Workplace Safety and Health Act 2009 and Radiation Reduction Act Chapter 228. So with this WSHO 2009, it is an order that describes the general health and safety requirements required in the workplace, as well as posing legal duties to employees, occupiers, contractors, principals, and software persons. Whereas the Radiation Protection Act Chapter 228 controls and regulates all the radiation activities in the United States. And this is in accordance with the requirements of
IAEA, which is the International Energy Agency. So complying to the law will ensure that the risk at the workplace is as low as reasonably practicable. So under the WSHO 2009, we have further 9 regulations there under, which is multiple offense, incident reporting, risk management, which focuses on the legal duties of risk assessment. We have regulation regarding the Business Purchase Committee. First aid, which is a review regulation published last year. WSS officer, construction, criminal provision, as well as farm facility, which focuses on oil and gas. If you want to read more on this regulation, this will be available on our website. And throughout this presentation, next presenters will also focus on this a little bit of the regulation. But do expect that there will be more regulations released in the near future to keep the safety standards in Brunei as high as practicable. So within SHENA, we have 8 main divisions, and the enforcement division falls under the operational function division. So if you are interested in hearing more from other divisions, you can register to their presentation, which will be tomorrow and Saturday. So under the enforcement division, we are led by our head of enforcement division, and we have 3 units, which is focused on safety, public health, and environment. I can say that we are a multidisciplinary team coming from different backgrounds, such as public safety, marine, oil and gas, etc. So our key goals in the enforcement division is to verify compliance with the health and safety law, as well as to ensure that the employers, principals, suppliers, and licensees carry out their legal duties. So with this roles of enforcement division, hopefully we can help SHENA to achieve its objective in implementing of the law, high safety standard across all HSC performance across all industries, as well as high safety culture in Brunei. So SHENA inspectors are wanted to enter, inspect, and examine any workplace at any time to verify any compliance with the law. And our core activities are conducting review and inspection, monitoring and issuance and legal duties as applicable. So throughout this presentation as well, these 3 will form the basis of our presentation subject. Over the last 9 years, there was 68 work-related activities in Brunei Darussalam. Anyone want to guess what's the leading cause of this work-related activities?
Height. I think height.
Sorry? So, working at height. Yes, working at height. So based on this 9 years of this performance, we have come up with 4 national activities. First, working at height, especially on consumption, 15 in trade management, asset integrity, specifically on oil and gas, and schools, hospitals, functions, and as well as government buildings. However, we are also interested in these activities and industries, like as we will conduct inspection, we have to visit to hotels, commercial buildings, car workshops, health institution, educational institution, and etc. So during this inspection and monitoring visits, we will focus on these key elements. We will ask for the management commitment, whether there is really commitment to health and safety from their leadership. We will also ask for safety, if there is any safety system in place, where we might ask for whether there is an assessment, inspection, and maintenance to keep the safety of the persons at work. We will also where there are workers' competency, whether they have received relevant training, information, and supervision to carry out their work safely. Next, I'll be presenting on the difference between monitoring visit and inspection. So for monitoring visit, it is basically an announced visit to the workplace. The workplace will not know that we will be coming by. So how we usually do this is we will drive using SHENA vehicles. We will drive around to our workplaces. And if we see any uncertain activities, we will intervene And we will also issue monitoring visit form. Where we will highlight the findings that from the monitoring visit, and we will have a follow-up meeting with them. And potential enforcement actions of this will be the potential issues of warning letters, individual orders, or vulnerable offense, which will be elaborated more by my contributor. So the difference between monitoring visit and the regulatory inspection is the regulatory inspection is a pre-planned regulatory inspection where the workplace we will issue what we call issuance of terms of reference, where we will tell them that we will be coming to the workplace and we will inform the elements that we will focus on in the inspection. Next, we will inspect the workplace and we will issue the inspection report within 3 weeks' time. And based on our inspector's discussion, there will be possible legal notices. And we will also require evidence of closure from the inspection report. We will also conduct next inspection to verify comparisons. It's also important to remember that the regulatory inspections do not diminish the employee's primary responsibility to ensure that the safety and health of the persons involved. So when conducting monitoring visits and regulatory inspections, you expect us to perform these enforcement processes. We will speak to the relevant people, such as the safety officer, the employee, the manager, the office. We will also assess any relevant documents and records, such as whether the metrics, set of procedures, and risk assessment. We will also take photographs and videos for our work evidence and quantify if there's any breaches in the law. We'll also check whether the risk is effective or not, whether they are actually effective or it's causing more risk to the workers. And we'll also look at the professional health risks such as noise, dust, and other various chemicals. We'll also definitely look at machinery and equipment hazards. Lastly, we will come up with all enforcement actions based on the discussion and based on the risk and situations. Thank you for listening. Next, I will pass on to Hamiza.
Thank you, Nat, for the insightful presentation. So just to summarize, the key takeaway from the earlier presentation, that enforcement division indeed carry out inspection monitoring visit to almost all workplaces across Brunei Darussalam. And the objective is to find any non-compliance, specifically to our workplace safety and health order, as well as radiation protection. Okay, next I invite next speaker, Hamiza, and Elizadi to present on common contravention in the workplace, followed with a case study. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for your interest. So I will talk about a few cases that we have seen in Brunei during our enforcement activities. And as mentioned before by my colleague, we enforce safety and order and ensure that the workplace is safe for people to work at, and as well as that the machinery and equipment are safe. Okay. So that to make sure that the machinery and equipment are well maintained. And according to the section as well, it is the legal duty of the employer to ensure the safety that needs to be followed with. And these are the examples of the common contraventions at the workplace. That means that these type of activities are the ones that are not being complied with by employers or by occupiers. For example, in the risk management regulations, Regulation 3 talks about risk assessment, and it is the duty of the employer as well as the occupier to ensure that the risk assessment is performed correctly and how to mitigate the risk. There's also the now provision regulation, which talks about prevention of fire, installation of equipment, poison death, and also talks about safety issues of chemicals used at the workplace. We also have the construction regulation, which talks about falling hazard, falling objects, anything to do with access and egress in the workplace, PPE, and also we have the facilities on the needs of the people there and material for safety case. So I will show you one example of what nice this, but we will not mention who it was. So I'll play the video. So it looks like a fun ride, but if anything wants to happen to that person, it will not go well because of the height. And plane is not meant to carry humans. It's only meant to carry a load. And this type of activity is a very because you can easily fall off or something that might happen. And we want to instill the culture that you can just ride it just because it looks like you can do it. And we also have seen a proper use of machinery, the use of excavator to carry a load like that using a sling, which is not meant to do. So, like if you use a sling to carry that load, which is not meant to be carried like in that way, you can easily slip off and fall on top of the person who's standing right underneath it. And it's not tested for that kind of activity. So this is quite a dangerous situation that we want to prevent in Brunei. And we don't know if you can lift that load and you can easily break and something that will happen. And then another one is the crane is being used to carry the worker up, which I think is also on viral in Brunei. The sling is not meant to carry a person, and he can easily fall off and hurt himself, or it can strangle him. And it's not meant to do that. And we have in our regulations workers. Also, working at height, as my colleague has mentioned, the major cause of death in night is due to working at height. And one major issue that we've seen is the unsafe scaffolding. And we know that it is not safe because there's no inspection tag on it. And if there's an inspection tag, then you know that it's been inspected to make sure that it's secure and that it's safe to use. And there's no stable base, and this is another example of working at height where the work area is not properly supported underneath the platform. The worker does not have any fall arrest system. There's also a risk of falling objects because of the lack of guardrails. There's no tool bars as well. Things from falling down and take someone underneath. And also, one big issue that we see is the need, awareness, and so that people will not influence the electrical hazard is also one of the main issues that we've seen. I think this is because of unlicensed electrician background, and there's exposed electrical wires, and construction sites that type of there's no installation within the electrical box. So as you see here, like the wire there is connecting and using tape for there's installation. It's used for drilling the ground. So and they're also using a generator that is not secure. So there's a lot of hazards there. And lastly, I will talk about the core chemical management. This is usually dealing with cleaning chemicals. And, it is considered a hazardous chemicals if accidentally ingested or there's overexposure to it. And like we've seen, the transfer of everything that it's for a different purpose, our accidentally drink it, which there's no safety data sheet with a safety data sheets and how to store it safely and how to deal with it if someone accidentally ingested or accidentally exposed to that. And without safety data sheets, we just don't know what to do in the meantime while waiting for the evidence to come. And there's also improper storage conditions for chemicals, which can be
DFD has been encountered. So all the teachers here are legit, and the teachers here are impossible to the show. The first one, emergency preparedness. Why is it important? Out here used to be a storage area. Is why the maintain or place, you need a required first aider and first aid and more first aider so concern about this is because in 2000 schools, so this is commonly used in school canteens and hotels. Where they should keep storing it outside of the workplace area, not inside the workplace. Should be outside where it's properly stored and secure. But then again, if you can see here, the clumps of the force are not the proper and suitable one. The force. Okay? Meaning that there's two types of pumps and proper force to use, which is for high, for the high pressure and low pressure. Okay. This is the most hard to miss issue and concern where there's a project, of course, they need to be housekeeping. What you see here is a risk of trip landfall. This because of emergency. This is not a big place. This is the housing area of the south. But when someone is injured, it's difficult for you to access them. Right? So that's an interest provider. Again, you can see here, this is accumulated water. It's a risk of waterborne diseases such as dengue. So you need to keep this up. Literally this. And then last one, sharp objects and tourism. Commonly seen in the construction area. Higher explosion risk. Why? The first one here. This is a portable generator that has been located in the corporate area to be stored. It has to be stored properly and need to be conducting a test by certified qualified electrician. Right? And again, this portable generator, you can see here, this is the flammable substances. Again, need to be stored properly and they need secure. Okay, so SHENA has already conducting the BSN, workplace safety notices, under guidance on the practice and installation of portable generators. So if you are interested for more to look into the generators, you can look into our WSM. Next feature showing about the gas cylinder. It was stored inside the cabinet, the store area where the employees working on as well. And again, the gas cylinder should be proper personal protective equipment. This is the release and active. but yet it can save your life. As you can see here, the first teacher is not wearing a proper harness. He's only wearing around his waist. To keep him secure. Strong helmet, harness are not allowed. Okay? Here, as you can see here, there's no protection at all. The shoe, there's no shoe even. So, what Hamza said just now, duties of employer, they should be giving proper briefing for the employees. And also, employees, if they have given already, either keep on reminding them to wear. Last one, it cannot be seen here because censored. Here it says that person are not wearing proper eye protection. When he was reading the ground. Others. This is mostly talking about the equipment of the workplace, such as forklift, fan, elevators. So this kind of equipment need to be certified and need to be certified by the third party. So SHENA has a list of third parties who can inspect this equipment. And again, operator not certified. So we need to train the employees before they do the and again, SHENA already has this. Again, this is you can train them by indoor training as well. So this picture showing quick and back practices. As you can see here, the automatic generator is not properly stored. So this is the right way to properly store them. The ball and good condition where it should be should be very. Okay. The next one here, you see here, the rotating equipment are not properly stored. And should be this should be the number one up. And lastly, this one, the forklift, not certified and not operated by. Also here, you can see the person is not wearing any PPE. And you can see the blanket. It's not complete. The bracket. Yeah. Thank you. That's all for me. I will pass to the next. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Hamizan and Izaki. So just to give a little bit key takeaway from presentation earlier. So you can see there is a number of non-compliance presented, whether it's related to working height, housekeeping, agency, and many more. So all of this is basic to safety. And it also linked to the duty of the employer and occupier of the workplace. So it is the duty of the employer and occupier to ensure the workers or anyone entering the workplace can be protected. So the employer need to provide adequate information, instruction, training, and supervision to the worker and also anyone who entering the site. And also it also linked with the risk management, risk assessment. So by having risk assessment, you will be able to identify any risk related to the work activity, how you can prevent it, what resource you need. So those risk assessment will assist the employer how to protect the worker. Okay, for the next presentation, I'll invite Azima, and she will be presenting about enforcement action if there is a non-compliance found during the inspection of monitoring. Thank you.
Alright, thank you, Yana. So we have already heard about the common controversial
common contribution in Brunei. So next, I will be talking about the enforcement action. So this is the common internal processes that we usually do. So when we identify the non-compliance during the monitoring visit, monitoring visit and inspection, so then we will determine the enforcement action. Okay. So we will determine the enforcement action by considering the reason. So few factors that we usually consider are first is safety consequences. Second is the compliance history, like if the monitoring visit that or inspection that we visited before has not been rectified. So we will also consider those things. So the third one is we also consider that if the workplace will cause some harm to the person. And then when we already determine the kind of enforcement action, then we will engage with the employer, occupier, or principal, where we will be sharing our findings on the workplace, and also we will also inform them on the kind of enforcement action that we're gonna give them if there is any. So the example of enforcement action that we usually do is warning letters. We also give remedial order. We also give stop-work order, compound fines, and legal prosecution. Next is what is warning letter? So warning letter is a formal letter. We usually give or to principal, employer, or occupier for non-compliance to the law and regulation. And for remedial order it is an improvement notice for significant non-compliance to the law and regulation. And what makes this remedial order is unique is it has a set of timeline for the employer, occupier, or principal to rectify the non-compliance. So they are given a set of timeline. The next one is stop-work order. So stop-work order is a legal notice we issue when there is a serious or imminent danger to the person. So when you are given a stop-work order, there will be no activity allowed to be done on the workplace except rectification. And you can only resume the activities if the stop-work order has been lifted by SHENA. Next is compound fines. So compound fine is a notice issued for compoundable offences. However, currently it still has not been used as it's still an ongoing process for implementation. And lastly is the legal prosecution. So it's a court order issued to relevant person involved in the workplace when there is a justification of non-compliance to the law. Right. As of 26 May 2022, this year, we have already issued four stop-work order, where one from the health institution, and two from construction, and one electrical work related. And then we also have issued about 22 remedial order, and these are some of the main contributions here. Next is we have issued 27 warning letters, and mainly is related to construction industry. Next is this is the industry guidance notes and workplace safety notices that you can refer or for guidance. And for more of this, you can find from our website, which is www.shena.gov.pn. Next is the not to industry, which is you also can find from our SHENA website. Okay, to conclude today's presentation is we enforce the law and regulation under SHENA, where we enforce the work safety order 2009. And then we also verify the existing safety and health compliance against the law on all workplaces in Brunei Darussalam. and take appropriate enforcement action for non-compliance identified. This is through the monitoring, visit, and the inspection that we've done. Next one is try to instill a sense of safety in all workers and consequently enhance the workplace safety culture in Minnesota. And we seek from everyone, especially from the government, industry, and stakeholder, to ensure Minnesota is a safe place to work and live. That's it from us. Thank you. Thank you, Kazima, for the presentation. A big key takeaway from enforcement action presentation. So depending on the seriousness of the non-compliance, there are different tools that we can use. For example, warning letter, remedial order, or a stop work order. So we will also take into account in terms of the history of the non-compliance in the past, whether the non-compliance is done by intent or the employer has done something. However, there is an area of improvement required. But all of those will be taken into account when deciding whether to issue a stop work order or remedial order or warning letter to the employer or occupier. So now we will open session for question and answer. Let me invite all the panel speakers to the front. And those who have any question, please let me know what is your name and from which company. Thank you.
So, a very good afternoon, everyone. My name is Justin. I am the corporate ITC manager for Surikandi. My question is related to the enforcement and all those regulations that set by SHENA. Now, looking at the current work-related fatalities that we see there, and I've seen that the number of incident-related is more towards constructions and also the industry. Now, the questions that I have, related to SHENA as an enforcement, when you set the rules and regulations from initial before they start working, meaning like when you say there is a competency requirement, there is a training requirement, where does this contract being allowed to start their work without looking at those requirements first? Because this incident that we foresee in the industry, most of them are not local Bruneian. Okay, so we are not aware whether these people are well trained or not. We're not trying to put the blame on the the contractors, but where is such regulations set before they start the work, they must have all those requirements first. That's my question. Thank you.
Thank you for the questions. I think it's very valid questions. I think the plan Catherine is asking very valid question because the best stage to apply safety is to apply during early stage, like design stage or during tendering stage, because later it will be easy to implement safety if it's already part of your HSE plan and all of this. However, the permit for construction is not issued by us; it's issued by MCI. What in our guidelines, we going to have design regulation, design safety regulation, something like they call it CDM, construction management safety. So this will be ensure the safety is part of the project, that it should be integrated part of the project. But at this point, what we do, since you can see from the fatality statistics, most of the fatalities having in the construction site and mostly it's coming from MYCE and the cranes. So this is our focus area. So we are going outside and we do monitoring visits and we do inspections. So average every year we have around 200 monitoring visits and inspections. So we visit a lot of sites, including construction, not just construction, also industry sector, other industry sector. and we implementing the law and we enforcing the law. And in case of any violations, we have our enforcement action. Is it clear or?
Is the answer clear, or I can open the floor to other panel as well to support the answer?
Okay, if I may offer, I trying to address the question, right? So let me try to check my understanding of the question first. That what you know is if there is any kind of pre-startup work regulation or work check before they start actual work, right? Okay. Now, let me step back first. SHENA is a regulatory body. Yeah. So if we're talking about system on setting up the startup and so on, and also on contractual matters, that is already happening outside the scope. Yeah. So what we deal with is there's a law and regulation, but we need to ensure compliance with the law and regulation. However, we are working with the right authority to actually address this matter. So, we are talking about construction industry. We work closely working with number one, ABCI, yeah, and number two, JKR, right? So ABCI, there are two processes that we are looking at. The first one is registration of companies. So in registration of companies, we are working with them to put in a number of requirements. Before they can register, they must have, yeah, this is something work in progress. I think we have to bear with this. Yeah? I think that safety doesn't come overnight. We have to work on it. So what we're going to do is that, I think I remember I'm from BSD. Yes, I've been there. I started working in BSD in my genes and I know what is safety at the time, in the 80s. So, yes, we're working with the NDCI. We put in this prerequisites in terms of training, in terms of requirements of safety management system, in terms of requirements for work safety health officers and coordinators. All these are being work in progress. Yeah. So it's with the registration stage. The second phase is with approval for construction. And this is I think the final filter, yeah, set point before, because I think the distributor, when they're on the contract, before they execute the contract, they have to apply for construction. They call it currency application in this year, if you know about it. Yeah? So that is another second checkpoint where we want to make sure that before the NDCI give them the approval to start construction, check has been done. Okay, now show us do you really have agency of supervisor officer. Do you really have safety management system? Yeah? And SHENA would like to come into this process. Again, some is work in progress, compared there, and hopefully it will be there soon. And in working with JKR is on the trying to input the requirement into contract terms and conditions. So we're looking at all this. Okay? Hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuan Haji Junaid. I open. Okay. Okay. I go for the first one who raised the hand.
Thank you very much for the presentation. I think it's quite, it's good that you're raising awareness to raise the issue about health and safety. I have two questions actually. I think it's linked to the previous question that has been set forth. I'm concerned about the small contractors, if you can describe them as such,
They don't know.
because they are involved in house constructions and so on. I think it's quite obvious that you could see there's a lot of how should I say, non-compliance of these issues. So my question is, what is SHENA doing to address this issue with regards to the small contractors? And my second question is with regards to prosecution. Does, were there any cases that were brought to court? And so are the companies being prosecuted for the offenses, or the directors or owners of the companies being prosecuted for the offenses? Because if it's the company and the owners are not being prosecuted, they can always open another company to start the businesses as well. Hope you can clarify on this issue. Thank you.
Thank you, Tuan. So to summarize the question, the first question is related to a small construction company who are working involved in construction project. So most of the area of concern are coming from this small scale construction company. So what SHENA action from enforcement or from other division here to improve or to mitigate this gap? And the second question is related to legal prosecution. So is there any learning or sharing can be shared audience for any case that has been bring towards legal prosecution? I open I invite side.
Thank you for the questions. Relevant to first questions about the small contractors who have all these unsafe conditions, which sometimes related to some of these factors. So what we do at this moment, we visiting all the sites. It doesn't matter if it's big or small. So we go to the commercial project, we go to also the private projects, we go to also government project, we go to any project, and we are trying to enforcing the law. So if there is any non-compliance, we do enforcement action. Enforcement action could be warning letters, if it's based on the findings. If it's in imminent risk, someone like potentially from highs or someone potentially could be prohibited or invalid or whatever, the finding is really severe, we can stop the site. We issue stop order. So stop order to cease all the activity or to cease much of the activity. Well, then depends on which one is the imminent risk. So this applies to all the sites. The second part of your question is about the prosecution and whether there is cases bring to the court. So we have investigations. So the investigation once being done by us, we refer it to AGC, and AGC refer it to the court. So we have some cases. It's already with AGC, and I think we have one case already reached to the court. So we are also investigating any fatalities or danger for parents or professional disease. And we, if it's in case we found there is a breach of the law and there is a concrete evidence of breach of the law, we refer to the case. And we have several cases already with AGC for them to consider to be escalated to court.
Okay, you want to?
Thank you for the clarification. I just wanted to know whether the prosecution will be focusing on the company or the owners of the company or directors of the company. Thank you.
So, very soon going to have the compound on file. So if you see any non-compliance or you see any violation to the law, so we're going to issue a summon for them. The summon will be based on the finding also. Work at highs. So this is for the chain jurisdictions. If there is some evidence that has been proven that it could be fatality or accident, so usually to refer to the court.
Okay, I think I want to add on further from Tuan's side answer just now. Jadinya selalunya legal prosecution ini dia berdasarkan our regulation lah. Our regulation ini ada a number of legal duties, ada employer, ada occupier, sub-employee, ada supplier, ada manufacturer. So all of these people are eligible to be prosecuted under the law because they have a responsibility, a duties at their own, how to protect, how to carry out the work safely. So if they fail to demonstrate any evidence or any proof lah yang barangkali ada mencuba sedaya upaya mematuhi undang-undang itu, then the legal prosecution can be escalated to a legal prosecution lah. Tapi before we go to legal prosecution itu, as presented earlier, ada macam-macam legitosnya, macam ada warning letter, ada stop work order, ada remedial order. So there ada hierarchy-nya lah. We will not immediately bring the person for legal prosecution immediately. It will be on a case-by-case basis. Is that answering that? Okay, thank you, Don. Any further question?
From Polytech, yeah. Sorry, I saw the like compliances. Yeah, I saw there's pictures about chemical storage or whatever into the pictures is now. It's the non-compliance, right? If you're putting it somewhere where people can not be identified as chemicals. Now I'm talking about shops, common shops like department stores, that they are putting some sort of chemicals in line with the same racks, like where people can access. With some people can just buy it from the normal stores. This is it considered non-compliance of the shops? Yeah. Basically, like another one. Sorry, scaffoldings, scaffolding compliances, like people who is doing the checking or the inspection tag, releasing the inspection tag. So we now for oil and gas or for area, they have these conventional scaffoldings that can be inspected and then released by some inspectors. But some of the construction areas, they are using a A-frame, H-frame. So there are two different areas. So who can be addressed to like giving compliance or tagging of these kind of scaffoldings?
Thank you for the question. So, refer to the first part of your questions about the chemical storage. Yeah, so the safety data sheet. The safety data sheet will be suppliers and the user of this chemical have to use it. For some of the chemical can be mixed together because have different characteristics. So usually chemical cannot be stored near to the electrical source. So you have to follow the safety data sheet. It's also for us the enforcement divisions. We also go outside, and if we see this type of light.
I think like in the shops, for example, there's usually requirements and how to handle the chemicals, and because they're selling it, it's not really considered a workplace. Yeah, because like those, there are certain ways of storing those chemicals, right? And they are usually labeled, and they don't use it over there, so it's not really under our jurisdiction in that way.
I just Second part of the question about the scaffolding. So yeah, I can understand your question. There is different type of scaffolding. So mostly construction sector they are using the HFA scaffolding. Mostly oil and gas sector they are using the tube fitting scaffolding. So tube fitting scaffolding is the standards like TG, Russian standards, all the HFA scaffolding also. Uh, for HFA scaffolding, it is being used in the construction industry. And as a one, we are not recommending use of the HFA scaffolding. But we advise it to get some structure engineer study this scaffolding and to assess the integrity of HFA scaffolding. We also want to advise him this HFA scaffolding need to have the certification. Have the guardrail, have the mid-rail, have the tool board. And it will be inspected also by the scaffolding inspector, and it will be levied. So usually when the HFA, we see the HFA, they ask him if you have any scaffolding inspection. See if any guardrails is given. So at this moment, we also give it up. We might have a scaffolding regulation. Scaffolding regulation, anyone applying scaffolding or rating scaffolding and scaffolding after the regulation. But this is also this language scaffolding. The use of the scaffolding. At this moment, scaffolding is not recommended, but it could be mitigated by inputs and by the inspection by the scaffolding inspector. Because as a small, we cannot physically because it's been widely used in the construction side. We cannot totally find it because it will be because we
Okay, to understand. So we actually already reached at the end of our presentation. However, if you have any further question, our presenter are readily available showcase area. You can approach the presenter or you can email to info@shena.gov.bn and inshallah we will assist to answer any of your inquiries. Okay, before we end the presentation, allow me to request your support to answer our survey form for our improvement, for any feedback. After this, we will have a quick activities from our activities team. So there will be MCQ question related to the presentation earlier.
Assalamualaikum and good afternoon, everyone. I hope everyone has scanned the QR code and you're, I think, still answering the survey. So while we're doing that, I'll just explain about our activity. So it will be a quiz, and the quiz will be based on the mini lectures this afternoon. And you can, if you participate, you can stand a chance to win vouchers. So it will be the top 3 winners. You can be eligible to win Super Save vouchers. So third place, you can get $10 voucher. Second place, $20, and first place, $30. So I hope you can stay and join the quiz after this. To join the quiz, you will need to use your mobile phones because you need to log into a website. So if you'd like to join the quiz, please go to the website joinmyquiz.com
And then please use the game code as shown on the screen. And then you can put in your name and wait for the quiz to start. So basically, the quiz, the way it scores you is if you get a correct answer and also if you answer the fastest. So you need to be quick and you need to be correct if you want to win those vouchers. Is everyone ready, or is there anyone who's still signing in and joining the game? We can give a couple more seconds. If you have any problems, do let me know if I can be of any assistance. Oh, okay. So I hope everyone signed in so we can start the quiz, yeah? Okay. So the first question, what are the elements that SHENA inspectors focus on during regulatory inspections and monitoring visits? We have limited time to answer the questions. Be quick, be correct. So let's look at who's leading. At the moment, EJ is leading, and let's see if anyone can overtake EJ during this quiz. Okay, next question. The following are the national HSC themes except. So there will be a list of answers in your phone. Please choose the correct one and note the question except. So, Pizza has taken over EJ. Let's see if it changes after the next question. Okay, what is an unannounced visit to workplaces to verify compliance? So, keyword unannounced. EJ taking back the spot. Okay, can anyone else beat EJ, or will EJ still stay on number one? Next question, who has a legal duty to ensure workplaces are safe and without risk to hidden health of person within premises? So legal duty. Oh, okay, still there. Not much changes to this leaderboard. A worker in the photo may fall from working at height due to. Please select your answers within the allocated time. Fluffy. Now, first place. Is exposed electrical wire one of the electrical hazards in the photo? Exposed electrical wire.
Oh, yun siya. Oh. Isang sakit siya.
EJ, back at it then. Okay. Why risk assessment is important?
Oh. Itong ba?
Oo, ganito.
No changes to the leaderboard after this question. Let's see if there will be in the next one. What are the types of enforcement actions issued by SHENA inspectors?
Wala pala. Dua satu sudah.
Okay, EJ and Fiza still the top two. Which one of the following has a set of timeline to rectify the non-compliance? The answers in the phone of your phone.
Oh, salah.
Top two still there and Wafi making appearance again. So which workplace industry has received the most warning letters as of May 2022?
Kita sa Pizza Hut ng sana.
Top three remains. And that's the last question of the quiz. So may I invite the top three. So third place, Wafi Aji, second, Pizza, and first, EJ. So we can start with the third place first, which is Wafi. Congratulations on receiving the prize. Second place, may I invite Pizza. And first place, EJ. Thank you so much, everyone, for participating. We really hope the mini lecture was very useful to you and the quiz was fun. And please submit your post-survey answers. It will be very helpful for us. So thank you and have a very good day, everyone.
Pag namasok police, polisi ka rin. Pag namasok polisi nila. Presented. So, next.
Oh,